I
Because I have, like,
Yeah.
I have allergies with asthma, but,
Yeah,
the cold can sometimes. And so I'm just curious how that helps.
like right now, like I can tell that, like, I have some
Yeah.
1% something going on, right?
Yeah.
But for a normal person, like you just, you don't even care, drink some coffee and move on with your day. But for him, even if he has just a tiny little bit of a virus or whatever it is, it kicks in at night to where there's like inflammation in his passageways or something.
The cold helps that?
So you take them outside, it helps constrict the passageways and they shrink just a little bit and it can open up his airway. Yeah, Really?
maybe there's moisture in the air or.
I don't think so. It's the temperature that
Yeah.
doctor said. So as he's just breathing it in,
Yeah.
it kind of shrinks all the blood vessels in his lungs or something. Ever so slightly. It's very odd, the whole thing. We thought he was done with it, but.
Yeah.
not so.
Comes back.
It's come back with a vengeance.
Did you come up 120, 120?
Morning.
I debated it.
Which way did you go?
Thirty,
How was it?
one lane was good.
I was just curious what the accident, I heard something. Was it 120th and James or something? Because did you see it was shut off?
Yeah. I came up,
Oh.
from 120th and Riley. And then once I got to,
Get diverted?
yeah. A couple miles up by the school, what's that? School, and I had to go to 31.
I think it said it was a car truck. But you couldn't go south of Port Sheldon.
Bad week for accidents.
Yeah.
We forgot.
Yeah.
I think this is.
Did any of your trucks get held up by that big one on 196? It's a miracle.
Yeah.
In fact, that somebody would at least been rolled up and stuff.
No serious injuries either, some broken bones, but nobody.
Some of those videos, nothing worse. And now that all the truck cams are starting to get released.
I do have the recording going.
Okay.
We
Do you want to
started.
start?
Oh, here's a.
Whenever you're
And we
ready.
did the forum, so that's.
Yeah, so yeah, we should technically have one, and then
Yeah.
everyone else I think is on the line,
Okay.
but maybe not.
Thank you.
Back for out.
Yeah, well. My fingers are,
Congratulations.
my fingers are a little small.
It's actually the thumb.
Yeah.
It's not a
But
point.
great, that's, I'm really happy for you.
Yeah.
And, thanks forward.
Yeah. Here's the greater Chip.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Happy New Year. Happy snow. Took us a little bit, but we got a quorum. So that's good. And Kim's got a couple people online
Yes.
and you've got the recording going. So we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. If you missed it, yeah, if you want to maybe send a sign-in sheet around the table, make sure everybody gets signed in for roll call. And then our first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the December 17 meeting that Kim emailed yesterday.
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discusussion?
Good.
All right, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. And next is public comment. We don't technically have public, just staff, right? But we're glad you're here. We don't have public online, do we, or just partners?
Partners, yeah, partners and committee.
Partner comment.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that's what, yeah.
Yeah, any partner comment? Or questions? I know eventually, I think, I don't see mine, I know Eagle was gonna join too.
All right, next up is to approve the agenda. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of approving the agenda as presented, say aye.
I,
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. So we have several discussion items. So up first is the information about the Eagle Materials Management Plan series. Does everybody get those emails? Are you subscribed and receive the emails?
Is it from Eagle?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I would say no for me, 'cause
Okay, because I get them.
okay.
Because they've had, it's like a webinar series that has to do with different aspects of the materials management plan, like citing facilities, I think is one coming up, and I probably have more information to share, but there is I think it's a specific listserv for materials management planning.
Is it from MRC or it's from? Eagle?
No, this is Eagle.
MRC, I mean, hopefully everybody's getting those too, but yeah, Eagle has a separate one.
Yeah, so Eagle has a separate one. The digital version that I sent you, I made sure it was not the one through my email. Cause that was the one initially linked, and I'm like, I noticed on the link, it had like, clearly it had like my email type, so I found the one on their actual website. So it should take you there.
Yep.
So trying to find it, but yeah. So the one that's this week, which is what I mentioned, actually talks about citing. So I wanted to make sure that if any committee members wanted to also attend for educational purposes, so that when we do have discussions related to that, that they would have, the wherewithal, especially, those on the committee that are, landfill, representatives, since obviously it really pertains to them. Obviously, I don't think they're not new landfills, but I mean, all the committee, that's like, citing is gonna be the most complicated part. My main plan is to take the old part and bring it and then see what we need to do to change it. That's what, from my understanding, most people are doing. And seeing what they can do, and then taking and seeing that's the newest part. They just released too, a whole portion on that. So that was the biggest thing in our meeting, that with the admin staff, that they said, oh, we're gonna, we just got a section, we're gonna do that real soon, and now they have, and well, with this webinar section, so. But, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see that that is, I think, tomorrow,
Yeah.
so,
I mean, that's a positive, because it's been a struggle to know exactly what to do with
Yeah.
this. And now it's like, all right, here's something tangible, you can attend, and it'll help you with this process, so.
Yeah.
It's definitely positive.
yeah. And this will be interesting too, because one of our biggest, one of the biggest thing with the DPA's thing is, it's a biggest struggle with the webinars is everything that they just tell you. There's no like, discussional type things. Like, we want to have, well, what does that mean? Or we're, more interaction discussional type thing, which is understandable, but at the same time, if you don't understand what they're saying, there's no, how do you reflect that, So, or if there's never enough time for a QA session at the end or anything like that, so. But I wanted to make sure the whole committee had, access to that, because how, your job in the end will be to interact with the plan to help create it, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kim,
Mhm.
just so everybody knows, there's a sign up if you click that link.
yeah. Yeah. And I could pull up on the screen if you really want to, but, I did provide the link. Yep, for the sign up. And it gives you options to, like, if you want to say where you are, and it gives you options to sign up for that. So if there's any more items like that, then you can continuously get those emails, kind of like what Kelly was saying. So yeah. And I can't remember what all the other series are. I think there's one about composting.
Yeah, and I
The
think they're
new-
all archived, they're all recorded, so you can go back and watch the previous one. Is
You
it,
know who's leading
Eagles leading them all. I think,
the individual?
yes, the individual that has the most, so I would think for like composting, it would be Aaron, I believe is I'm looking at you since you would know the person for composting. Okay, like I said, I don't know, but it would be the person that knows the law the best for that area. So I don't know the whole, let me see if I still have oh yeah, let me pull up the agenda and then, oh, see, this is where we're talking about, like, when you go from working from home to working in here, it gets glitchy. So. Yeah. But yes, so, does not make it easy for me to pull up the agenda. But, yes, there's a whole series of them. And I was gonna try to tell you what the other ones are, but I can't right now, easily without taking up a lot of time. But yes, the expert from Eagle will be the ones leading it. And I'm sure there'll be other Eagle, like, I know, all the representatives of our area. So Jeff is our representative. He'll be there. Christina Miller, will be there because she's the plan lead, as well as the representative at Best Site. So whoever the siting expert would be the person there, the composting person, and I don't know what the rest are in the series are. Yeah. What I got for that. I just want to make sure everyone was aware and you can sign up for it. There you go. And it's all Zoom. Next item is an update on how the DPA work group is that we have through the MRC. I have gotten some feedback from the 10 people that signed up to help me with that, to meet with the Eagle administration, and I'm gonna send a representative from a letter from the DPA work group to Eagle, just kind of saying how we felt like that went, so that we can hopefully get more, I think let's say it, more helpful, work, we kind of, from the feedback we got from the DPA work group of the 10, there's two big areas that we feel like we really would like some help with, and that's some of the grant writing. And just so you guys kind of understanding, for example, we as in Ottawa County, still haven't been, we haven't gotten our, reimbursement back yet, because we've had it on several, document misunderstandings. I have personally watched a couple times, and our fiscal services, we've thought we sent all the proper documents for what they've said. But then they'll come back and say, oh, well, actually it was this, or some misunderstanding type stuff. And we've done, based on what we've read and understood. And other counties have had similar type of interactions too. So it's not like we're not reading it right. So it's just misunderstandings, and other counties have had that too. So, just better understanding. So it would be nice to have something with the grant understandings, or so that in the future we can make this flow better. And there's still misunderstandings for like the next round, and some people are still worried about how it's going to go forward with the grants. And so that was a big item that still people want to talk to with DPAs. Because again, this isn't just me, I haven't even thought about step 2, because I'm more of a systematic, like we're still on we're still under the first grant, why I started thinking of step two. But there's so many other counties that are so worried about step two that, you know, that came up. So they want to have a whole discussion around just the grant process.
Has any county received money?
Apparently some have,
Okay.
but very few. So apparently we should know. So, yeah.
Did I say that out?
So, I just apparently finalized it yesterday, but I thought I had already sent in the version of the document that they had wanted. Well, that's where the confusion is. Some of it is just verbiage, like, and I thought I already sent in the actual document through the Survey Monkey. And that's where some of it is. But, and, like I said, that's where some of the confusion is when you think you've done something, but apparently you didn't, and, but yeah,
Just say, I mean,
Yeah.
you do, I have multiple
Yeah.
between energy and everything else.
Yeah.
I've never had it a straightforward, it's always, there's a hiccup, time issue.
yeah,
That's why I said what I said, it's just, there's.
yeah.
You guys aren't alone.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's what, and one of the other things is that we're trying to discuss is, a lot of it is that we're being directed to talk to our local person or an individual versus why don't we talk on a mass level? You're guiding us to talk to an individual versus having it be multi-shared. So it doesn't help a group when you're telling us to talk to an individual. So if you're telling all these individuals, and then you also can get slightly skewed answers versus a uniformed answer, things like that, where, and that's little things like that. We're trying to be like, this doesn't make sense. We want to make sure everything's uniformed and that we're working as a group and as a team essentially. And, those kind of things. And some of the other things is the other second kind of item is that some of the definitions or those are the big things, like kind of like what I'm saying is interpretation of those. We want to make sure that those items are being clarified and uniformed. And we don't want to keep getting this, seen, they're talking about the citing now is going to be like tomorrow. But other items we want to be defined and clarified as a group, not individual counties. And that's something that we want to have in the letter. So, we're gonna share that with the whole DPA work group. I'm gonna share that this evening. So it gives the rest of the day for the 10 individuals that we had in that meeting to kind of give feedback. So if I need to tweak the letter, I did have Kent County suggest that maybe not just myself on the letter, so maybe having, so Kent County is, their DPA has also put their name on the letter too, saying like, hey, there's more than one. So it makes more of a representative of the groups and not just one individual. So, Kent County's name is also on the letter too, to be like, hey, yeah, this does represent more of a work group, not an individual. So, yeah. So that's kind of the update on the work group to try to be like, hey, we want more support. Not like and it also kind of states too, is like, hey, Eagle, your staff has been great and very helpful. I'll make that clear too. Their staff, like Jeff, that's, our local representative, they've helped with all the questions. Christina Miller, that's the planning representative, always responsive. We're not saying that Eagle's not helpful at all. They are super helpful. I'll make sure that's clear too. They are helpful. It's just kind of like more of the process.
This has been
Mhm.
kind of an issue since the very beginning, that there's just this lack of clarity of exactly what needs to be done.
Mhm.
Is part of that, I'm just thinking about it, is part of that because it needs to be local ordinance versus state? So that the local governance has to make these decisions, not a state mandating that each county does the same thing? And is that maybe why we can't Because it feels like you're asking pretty clear questions and they're just not
Mhm.
telling you.
I think it can be both. It depends on interpretation. I think some of it is, and this is where it falls into my opinion, and some of it falls into, I think, your interpretations. My opinion is, I think some of it falls into process interpretation. So I think some of it is, how does the state want to interpret the law? And no one wants to be that person to say it. And then in the end, it has to be, someone has to say it. I mean, that's what it boils down to. That's my opinion. And I'll say that's just my opinion. But someone's got to do it. I mean, and then some of it is just administrative process, like you have a manager, you have your supervisor, staff, and they all have to be a team. And they've got to find the flow that works best for them. And they've had a lot of reorganization. So, and they just got to find that reorganization, this, again, my opinion. And they just got to work through it and make sure that they understand that you have all these people looking at you and needing you, and you got to make it work. Yeah, you got to make it work because all these counties and this whole state needs you. And you got to get,
The issue,
yeah,
it's probably separate, just government. So,
yeah. And you just essentially got to man up.
then you. That out as well. So.
Yeah, Yeah.
Not an easy
So you have this messy thing happening here and then it's already complicated.
yes,
So
yes. And then, like I
And
said,
we're trying to straighten that.
yes,
That took how many years to get to this point? So. now
Yes.
we're-
yeah. And then at the same time, like you said, yeah, yeah. And then at the same time,
I know.
yeah. Mhm.
I've given up.
Yeah, and then at the same time, we as a local government have to do what local governments have to do and just do our own thing. So, and still plow ahead. So, again, some of that's my opinion. So I'm not them, so, but we just still need to plow ahead. But as DPAs, we need to figure out how we can still work together to do the best we can. So that's all we can do. Yeah, so that is my Eagle update. And so,
Any questions about that?
Yeah.
Before we move to the next discussion item?
I guess the only question I have, is there anything that we can do to help straighten this out? Or help at least, or would that just muddy the water some more?
I think. No, I guess just support. I mean, always, if you see new, opportunities, I have had, I know some of you are in other work groups. Like I think Carrie mentioned that it was talked at Kent County. So, and support it there. So yeah, if you're part of other work groups and it comes up, support the, other DPAs and,
I guess the other follow-up question to that would be, as we are working through, which in a lot of us have contacts, different meetings with state officials, would it be wise for us to mention, hey, we're having an issue in this, so you guys work, as a kind of echo of what you're saying?
yeah, I would say that, or if the other Eagles, in my opinion, the Eagles staff, they need support too, so. I mean, yeah, how can you support them to get things moving forward too, so that they can help us? I mean. Yeah, support them and how to get things moving forward too, so.
Okay.
Yeah, cause I know yeah, they wanna get things going too, to be able to get things, so, yeah. That would be helpful, I would think. 'Cause I know, yeah, everyone wants to get this going forward better. Let's look at the screen, make sure. Yeah, if you guys see anything up here while I'm looking down, thinking, appreciate it.
The progress report?
Yeah, and then this is where, yeah, staff, if you guys think, if I'm missing anything on this part, let me know. So progress report on the MMP. So we're kind of moving forward now, which is kind of nice. So I have set up strategically, so I'm not sure if everyone's seen, I'm gonna kind of combine some of these all together. But so we, on the 26th, pending how not necessarily a vote, but thoughts. So I've scheduled and reserved the boardroom because the sheriff have the main conference room reserved. And the next best room is the boardroom. On the 26th, from 1 to 3, to have a information meeting regarding the MMP for the municipalities and inviting our Board of Commissioners for an information regarding the materials management plan. The idea for this, and obviously this is where your guys' feedback is important and insight, is just for an information. This is just like an introduction of the MMP. Kind of like, this is what it is. This is going to be coming to you. We're not giving you, we're not asking. This is just, this is what it is. And Faith has been kind of working on a presentation of like MMP 101. This is just, and at this time too, I thought, and this is where we haven't formalized anything. This is why I'm bringing it to you guys now. This is where you guys can present thoughts and opinions on it too. I haven't locked, like I said, I just have it reserved. But this is just like a 101. And I thought maybe I can have lunch a little bit beforehand if I need to, just have some snacks and beverages. But just introduce, and then we could also have maybe to make it, if we wanted to have some information about, when I say information, just simply flyers, not like, hey, here's haulers where they can talk to you guys and that kind of stuff. That wouldn't be that kind of thing, but just maybe your flyers of like vendors and stuff, but nothing like like hauler type stuff. That would be, if we're gonna do like a huge type thing, that would be later. But this is MMP focused 101.
One of the things that the city of Mullen does very well is creating informational videos, and they send them out on a very regular basis. Have you thought about maybe using some and doing something similar that you could send to the municipalities? So that the folks that don't come at least get the information that they need, as it
Yeah.
pertains out of the county.
So we were thinking that would be kind of like phase 2. This was kind of like a phase 1, bring them here. So we were thinking about like a phase rollout, phase 1, see if they would come. More like that personal, give them that person, give them the chance to be the personal, kind of like that warm and cozy kind of thing. Phase 2, make that video. And also if they, want us to come, that would also be like, we can also have a sign up sheet if they want us to come again and talk to their committees. We can make the video where it's also a little bit warmer and nicer. So that way we can also have the sites, maybe in the sites if they need to have some Springer, not cold stuff in it. And that, and also when funding could be a little bit more understood with the grant stuff being a little bit kind of, and have some stuff like that.
But they give you.
Yeah.
The committee, so people can, so it's not just you that they're reaching out to,
Yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
gives information, gives them
Yeah.
faces to what they're doing.
Yeah.
Reference back to, I'm just thinking of council members right now,
Yeah.
they're dealing with so much.
Yeah.
They hear this, if they have something that they go back to, they see it's on the agenda for the incoming week, those type of things.
Yeah. But we have talked about phase 2. Yeah. 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 So the board, we put the board in there too, because we figure the board hasn't really known much about it too. And then they're also out talking to other communities too, so if anyone had questions too. But we were talking about like, it'd be like a phase kind of thing too, and then like another thing too is we'd be talking to community members, like events, not events, but Also doing the same kind of concept too, to the public as well, because again, just getting the word out of what an MMP is, because eventually what's required too are public comments and all that stuff too, but if public can't comment on anything, if they have no clue what it is.
Right, that's where I was thinking.
Yeah.
In this day and age,
Yeah,
you make a video, make some shorts out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spread it out through our networks.
yeah, but our first thought was if we inform the municipalities of what it is, then they can start digesting. Like, for example, they don't even know, if they don't know what to ask in regards to, do we want a single hauler? Like, so we, again, so I guess maybe this will lead into like what I was kind of talking about with our Ottawa Way article and survey that we did. So I'm assuming, well, not survey. I know most of everyone in here, I believe, lives in Ottawa County, and those who don't, we have an article which I attached so that if you didn't live in Ottawa County, you could see it. Ottawa County does a seasonal article, and so I posted so you guys can read it, and it has a survey that we were able to do, and as of yesterday, so I could have the numbers for you. We had over 1,500 residents take it, which I think was surprisingly a lot more than I thought. I thought it was good. And Epi thought that's actually a pretty good number for a survey, especially when all you see is a barcode. We also have it on our website. Clarify, so we have it on the county's website. So when you first log in, you can see it. We have it also on our recycling. So my webpage, as well as we had posted it once on our Facebook, the county's Facebook. So it's been, there's a few different ways you can take it. So, but most of them I think were taken through the article. So it's pretty good.
How long is it open?
I think we're shooting at least throughout January. Shannon and Allison is public health, simplest way to say it, PR person. So we're not sure when we're gonna close it. We're kind of feeling about how, once it starts to peter off, I think is when Effie was kind of thinking about closing it. But it's still going decently strong, so I'm not sure when we'll close it.
Results will be shared publicly.
Yes, once Epi does their thing, which is so Epi will, look at it, they'll look at the population, like the age demographics and see how to properly. Epi will do what Epi does, make sure that it's done right.
Yep.
If you guys know what I mean by that, so,
Not gonna be information shared during the informational meetings as well.
I imagine, like I said, that's why I don't know when it'll be shared once, I'm not sure how long data takes to filter and make sure that it's correct, I'm not happy, so I'm not sure if it'll be done by that time. Yeah.
With that informational meeting, will there be, so the video's a great idea. The
Mhm.
county does a good job with that Ottawa Out Loud, and they highlight programs in a very succinct way, but for the meeting, are you planning on having like a leave behind? Something that people can take away, something that township officials can put on their counters or post on the board?
Yes, yeah, something. There's always, I want to make sure there's something.
Yep, good.
Yep, and there's always something to take away. I want them to come back asking questions essentially too. I want them to want to know more too. Because the idea is that they're gonna have to make decisions. I mean, that's the thing too, and I want other meetings, this is just the first phase is just to give them what is MMP. That's the idea. They don't know what it is. I want to make sure they know that something's coming. We're gonna want something from them.
Totally makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, but at the same time, because for example, the Eagle essentially wants them to understand that it's their level they believe, at least from my understanding, is at their level that the waste, the trash hauler ideal should be made. It's, and the county's level is to help them kind of decide thoughts behind it, like, because when they did the mega data, they had the assumption essentially that every municipality already knew everything about their trash system. Like they knew every single hauler in their municipality. Which I don't believe that was truly, so. Because when we called, like I had an intern call, a lot of them didn't. So,
Is there value in having the local township officials that are engaged with single haulers and talk at that event on their experience? Like, I
yeah,
think Spring Lake Township recently
yeah,
sent out an article about a fixed rate and you pay that one rate, but you don't have to recycle if you don't want to, and
yeah, well,
it'd be
yeah.
interesting knowledge sharing for local officials.
Yeah, well, Spring Lake Township and Village both have now, I think, ordinances, they're different. One is, I think they're both somewhat single hauler, as like,
Township is
and the other one is, I know they both have something different,
village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they have
The ordinance,
licensing.
Jeff. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
license. Yeah.
That's what it is. I know there was something. They both ended up doing something.
Right.
I live in Crockery and so like I'm close, but not, well, I'm Spring Lake, but not Crockery, but they have something now. But,
Yep. They do start
But yeah.
negotiating rates and stuff, and I don't even know
Yeah.
how that works. I don't know if that's information to share with other local officials. How did you get that rate? How does that
Yeah.
compare with others? Is that a good, like
But-
$67 and
yeah,
14 cents, I think, is what people are paying?
yeah. So this is
Wow,
where,
what is that?
this is what me and my team have talked about actually. Do you go that far on the first meeting
Yeah.
where we're like, no, yeah, so we're like,
I think you gotta keep it high level about what's going on. You can't get in the weeds.
yeah, that's why we're like, that's more like a phase 3 meeting, like that's. First of all, if some of these townships, they don't even know, they haven't even thought about anything.
Yeah, I have one overarching thought from the council or the board member perspective when they're really busy and stuff. Because there's there's lack of definition, there's lack of information. I would probably recommend doing an email strategy first before trying to bring people together. So that to try to inform people on like what things are to build just a really small baseline.
Mhm.
That's just a thought. I mean, you could maybe find ways to work with like different county board members and reach out into the local units or something like that. We've had some really good meetings recently where we have brought a lot of people together, like that PA 233 one. But that's one where people are really, really interested. So that's my feedback without kind of trying to stair step people into it. I
So
don't
we
know.
have sent emails out.
Okay.
The problem with emails are, with municipalities are, so there's with municipalities, you've got the sending it to who gets them, who reads them, and they don't know who's sending them. So you've got a lot of confusion with that. Whereas, the thought behind inviting them to is, I've talked to some of the supervisors historically, like, with what I've done is you get if you have some food and drinks, a lot of people like that stuff. You invite them and you get a level of person, you get a level of personal level and you can choose to have us come to them. Some people like that, like I do with presentation. When I initially talked about an item, and I went to Georgetown, for example, they had never even knew that we had a site on Roger Drive. And they were blown away with it. And, this is when we were talking about a possible new site. And they love the idea, but at the same time, they had levels of concerns and stuff and they were all valid, but at the same time, they were like, well, we'd love to support the current one and all this. And just the level of engagement, they wanted, they're like, well, maybe we'll have you back again. And so items like that you learn by just having that in-person discussion. And
That makes sense.
so that's where have I, at the same time, going to every single, and that was in the evening. And I have family, we all have families and stuff too, so, but if I can get them to come here first, yeah,
I was kind of
Yeah.
processing that, looking at the
Mhm.
the agenda, so it's 2 hours, material management, it's a high level overview.
yeah,
It's tough to bring all these local
Yeah.
officials in together, it's
Yeah.
easier to go visit them.
yeah,
But if this is just introductory.
Yep.
I'm not sure what 2 hours of content
most of
we're
it's,
going to have.
yeah,
And if you just say, hey, we're working on this is what it is, it's kind of fuzzy right now, and you give them a lead behind.
Mm.
Is that something that maybe we could build into another event, just to respect local officials' time, still get them in, because we meet with local leaders twice a year, we
Yeah.
bring them in and you get 20 minutes. And you can present, get really succinct, and
Yeah.
then we have a series of other initiatives to share with
Yeah.
locals.
so another discussion that we had vaguely considered when I was scheduling it too, is that, my other teammates, an onsite, there was some other items that they had talked about with the real estate program. That is something that was strongly an item but at the same time, there are some really big. I don't know time wise, part of the 2 hours too is the question and answer type part. It was, here's maybe an hour of like, hey, here's MMP. I don't know how long. Or how Faith might know how long her presentation would probably take that she's been working on. Okay. Just yeah, a lot of it's question and answer. I don't know like how many questions and answers people have, especially if there's the idea of what's some of the questions are a lot what I would suspect, and I don't know how these would go or how many people would show. I don't know. That kind of stuff is like, and this is where some of like I don't even know if Dan's available yet, or I haven't even gotten there. I just chose a date too, because I do also know that I will potentially be having a BA. Yeah. I will potentially be having a BA at that board. I also usually chose that because I'll be it's a board meeting day, so if the board wanted to choose to stay behind so that they could be there, they could. I will have a budget adjustment for my program on that day, so I might be there. So it
Kevin,
would, yeah.
my one
Yeah.
follow-up on all that would
Mhm.
be, if you could make it shorter, I
Yeah,
would.
yeah, nope,
Yeah.
Yep,
Because of.
I
the
just- yeah.
activity,
yeah, nope,
it's kinda-
yeah,
Might get more attendance too,
yeah,
if they know, hey, come in and we're gonna do 30 minutes of presentation and have minimum 30 minutes of questions, then they know they
Yeah.
can just kind of do it quick.
Yeah.
Hey, that's fine.
yeah,
Feedback.
nope, that's why I bring it that's why I didn't just set it, You guys at the committee are here to help.
I guess some feedback on that as
Yeah.
well, because I, heard you mention it once or twice about, single hauler or other municipalities that single
Yeah.
hauler is a county, or is your position trying to push municipalities or trying to, it almost seems like that's somewhat of the direction of the county, is to try and talk to municipalities about, hey, single hauler is great, you guys should do it.
I've never gotten to get down to the rest of my fingers yet. Every time I get cut off to go the rest of the fingers, or,
I'm just trying to
Yeah.
understand what
No.
tone or what.
No.
county is.
no, the Eagles
What is this?
standpoints are to get the counties to show all the educational options to the is to provide all the educational options to the municipalities that the Eagle, from my understanding, is that at a local level is where the waste haulers and the municipalities should be working with the waste haulers in having knowledge of what is going on, whether it should be just the knowledge. And that's where the data essentially should be kind of understood. And when I say data, it should be who's hauling, who's there, and if they want to work with the county at a certain level, or essentially who's going there. They assume that because the roads are taken care of at a municipal level, that means that the haulers are all known and understood. So like when they did the mega data project, they called the municipalities thinking that they knew that every hauler is already talking and that they already knew all that kind of stuff. So that's why, so when I say single hauler, it's, to be honestly, that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. That's why that's the first thing I rattle off. But there could be licensing agreements. There could be, that's why I said I hadn't gotten a chance to rattle off all the other things I could have known of. Licensing agreements. It could be just data collection. It could be whatever. It could just be an understanding of these are who's coming in and out. It could just be, hey, we just need a notice of Bob's hauling is
Like operation, right?
operations. Like, I don't know what you can call them. It could literally be just a made up, this is called Waste 101. That's just what they call it. I know it doesn't have to be single hauler. There's no, and the county has no preference. We can have our own made up, da. It's just, that's just the most known thing they call it that, I know of. We can do our own magical thing. There is no preference for the county. The county just, honestly, I can tell you what I want. I just want data. That's all I want. So I love data. I'll admit that. I will fully declare, I love data.
The difference between licensing and knowing who's in
Yeah.
the county and who's
Yeah.
licensed, or,
Yeah,
that they're insured and,
Yeah.
the hauler, like that's kind
Yeah.
of two separate discussions.
Yeah.
And
I was like, you're in
want
it.
to lead over. and
Yeah.
also
Yeah,
be Kind of
yeah,
advertised or pushed to municipalities.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is the
yeah,
best thing, or is
Yeah.
it more just about licensure?
Yeah.
And who's in your municipality? Are they insured, and are they,
Yeah.
doing what they should? be?
yeah. And that's why you guys are on the committee. I said, the only thing right now that I care about, honestly, is data. But I mean, that's all I care about.
And that's part of a licensure as well, too.
Yeah,
Data collection, data.
yep. Yep, so right now it's, yeah.
I may have a different opinion, but I understand where he's coming from.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. Yeah,
And I have yet a different opinion.
My opinion
Yeah.
is, my opinion is the local decision makers should make it.
Exactly.
If City Hall wants to do that, then City Hall makes a decision, but puts it out.
But at least they'll have the information that that is a thing.
yeah,
There's some municipalities that haven't even thought that there's such a thing as a single hauler. So it's an educational, from Kim's perspective, the way I look at it, it's an education. You can go down to a licensing, right? Like you said, you think single haul, I mean, if the municipalities understand all the options that are on the table, that will feed into what the MMP means, that's what they need.
Hmm.
So.
Yeah. And, I think to do anything, why would Georgetown Township need to do anything?
Well, they'll have to get data to her, or at least be aware of who all their haulers and everything are, the way I understand it.
they could.
Yeah.
If that's what we choose to do,
Right.
there's no, yeah,
Depends on where the plan ends up.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is we shouldn't jump the gun. We just need to make sure that they.
but at the same time, they don't know what those are. That's what I'm getting at. They don't even know. So that's what this, educational set, what those terms are. If they don't know what the terms are, when things start going forward,
We don't even know. So,
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Yeah.
yeah. So essentially just MMP, and then that's Faith. Faith is trying to keep it high level, just 101. Just keep it simple, and if they start, and the idea is that ideally, as many of us that can be there, so if they start having these conversations, we can just be there, just high level. That's
And that's
just,
just
yeah.
my question.
yeah,
Clarifying
Yeah.
that, you know, we're just giving information out. and
Yeah.
These are options, not.
yeah.
This is.
So, yeah, so a shorter meeting, if that's what we all think is better, we can, I just, with me not knowing, and with rooms, with rooms here, you gotta try to book them when you can and reserve a slot time. And it could be like, if you really wanna do maybe 2 to 4, and we just have a little bit of that, like, people, you always too, like, when people are getting here or whatever, I just reserve time. So if you think, really an hour or half hour, an hour and a half, whatever, I can do that.
It'd be interesting to see what you presented, just because
Yeah.
we're in this
Yeah.
every month we're here, and
Yeah,
sometimes it feels like, are we really making progress or not? And,
yeah, yep,
you know,
and I can send those
starting
slides
to get
ahead.
into where we're at now,
Yep,
it might be
yep,
good look back of where we're at.
yep, and, I can reach out to, Epi and see, so if you want, I can send, see if I can, share as soon as our survey is compiled, I'll ask, see if I can,
Is there, by the way, and maybe you said it earlier, is there a date that it ends, or is it a certain number of people that they get
I
responsible?
don't know. I will ask about that, cause it was kind of we'll see, I know we're gonna reuse the survey to a certain level so that we can always have a consistent, like, if we're like, for example, we talked about having one that we're gonna use for like the municipalities, when we go to ask them certain things, we might send to the municipalities a survey. We might, when we do our like public items, we might use a survey there, but we're kind of using, so we always have certain things, so, but I'll ask Effie when we're gonna end date. So, cause some of these questions asked is, do you know what this is? Like, one of the questions I do believe is, how do you feel about certain like laws or something like that too, like millages or something like that, just to get a sense on like politically, like active, like funding structures and stuff like that, just to get those type of things. Um, yeah, I mean, just to get a sense on things. But there is some good, like, do you know that you have to rinse your plastics before you recycle it? Those type of things. So it was a really good survey. We looked at some other ones that were out there. But, and then I'll ask to see if there's a date for those type of things. And then And then, you just asked too about like to see where we're at for the plan and stuff like that. Um. We'll probably get further once we know about the siting. The siting part is the bulk of the plan. And I've been waiting about, I mean, that's why the plan tends to be like 200+ pages. Oh, and, yeah, because right now, like I said, the plan's pretty much can be done. So. But the siting part is the bulk of it, so. And then, yep. And then the survey part is the compiling, so I'll ask about the surveys to see if I can get you guys any type of information regarding it. We can see rudimentary parts of the data. I'm pretty sure Epi's not really, Epi is not really fan sharing it, because there's no type of really good way to read it without having stuff, but, I'll talk to them about it and see if they can get information about when to share it.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Some of the write-in answers are interesting to see, I've also gotten emails back from it, which is always good. To me, it means that, I mean, obviously they're negative, but takes the time to write positive emails to people, but in the sense to take the time to write a negative email means that they took the time to take it and to think about it and to write you a response. So I think that's positive in a sense, and to be compared to Emmett County was kind of like, you know, first of all, they're part of a city and they have a different structure, and I mean, there's no way, I mean, Ottawa County is a completely different county, but I don't know, it's kind of like, huh, okay, and then I mean, someday maybe, but yeah, we can't do dual stream recycling here. And I mean, I don't think Republic and Aero Waste and wants to do dual stream anytime soon. But, and another one was our site hours, which it's like it's all about recycling, not HHW, so. But, I don't know. It got people interested in actually thinking about recycling. But yeah. That's all I got for those items, unless you guys, so. I'll probably follow up with some emails about the meeting. Based on our conversation, if you guys don't mind. We can
Yeah.
coordinate that because I think,
I'm suggesting too of
Yeah.
seeing some of the material as well.
yeah. And so, Dave, when you get that locked down a little bit more, if you want to send it to me so I can send it to the committee. And then you guys can make notes on it and comments. Then we can lock it down.
I don't know how long
Oh.
Spencer's had his hand.
Oh, yeah, Spencer, sorry.
Hey, yeah,
that.
no, not too long. We're fine. I just wanted to
Okay,
say
good.
in regard to the survey itself, I know, I mean, my intention would be to keep it up as long as response rates are up. If we get down to the point where it's like 1 or 2 people are taking it per day, obviously at that point, we'll consider taking it down, but also I know from a EPI perspective, they're gonna be looking at like how generalizable is this to our population demographics. So like if we're I mean, early on, when you send out like a newsletter, like it's disproportionately gonna be people in their like 50s and 60s, when compared to like Ottawa's actual demographic breakdown. So if we're missing like something that would make it more generalizable, we may creatively look at other ways of pushing the survey out so that it's just as representative as possible. I don't even know what that means exactly. I mean, I would be leaning on EPI and our communications people. We've done like social media and on our website and through a newsletter, but are we missing something? So I think that's where we're at. I don't know, it doesn't completely answer. We don't have like a hard and fast date. If we continue getting high responses though, with the mechanisms we have in place, we'll keep it up, right? And then if we don't do anything to push out in new ways, it's gonna dwindle down to one person a day or something real quick. Cause I don't think people's attention spans are short. And so we probably caught, you catch early on all the people that are paying attention to these different ways we've pushed it out. So we'll see. I just wanted to share that. We'll keep that conversation going.
Thanks, Spencer.
Yeah, thank you.
So Kim, you said that was everything you had on the MMP progress report.
Yes.
Any other questions, thoughts for Kim before we move on? I guess one question I have is, do you want committee members to be present at that meeting if we can? Just, like, just so they can,
Yeah.
people that attend the meeting can maybe meet some of us, and then
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be every time they call you if they have questions.
Yeah. And you guys have some of the answers that I don't have that they might have.
I will be out of town that week.
Yeah. And I expected that, especially because I had to set a date, so.
But you add that to our calendars.
Yeah.
I have another meeting, but I'll move it because I'm in charge of it, so.
Always nice.
Wish I was in that position.
Okay, there's no other questions on that. We move on to your program update.
Yeah. So you guys have asked for these, so I have, so one of the things that my teams, obviously besides this, obviously my team, recently, we have been, noticing a large increase in sharps collection. So I'm not sure if you guys know, one of the things my program does is provide sharps containers and sharp disposals for Ottawa County residents for no cost. So, we have noticed due to our clerical staff, they help with us. So we, initially pre-COVID, only provided them at the public health offices, which are at Beech Tree, James Street, and, Port Sheldon locations. But since COVID, Beech Tree and Port Sheldon locations hours are very irregular. So we expanded those to our sites, all but Coopersville and our Holland, since we have our location on James Street. And I'm not sure if it's due to the expanding of locations or just the general need or medication changes or life or what, but they have steadily increased to a lot. So,
That's exactly what I was.
yeah,
But
It's just more people, it's
Yeah.
more affordable, more people doing that type of a thing.
yeah,
To diabetes, other things that have always.
they now have injectable psoriasis drugs, and eczema drugs, so, yeah, so there's a lot more injection drugs.
Yeah. so, yeah, so. But the problem is with those medications, they don't also provide disposals. And proper disposal and sharp containers. So the reason why we offer no cost for the disposal is a few different reasons. Obviously, we don't want to spread disease, as well as we also don't want improper disposal. So this is something that my program has always done before my time. And, it's a high cost of, containers cost is high and disposal cost is also relatively high. So we've been recently talking about, and then our recent vendor, which is an online vendor, has now made boxing interesting because they'll send like 5 containers in a box and then 20. So you might get like 8 boxes of 50, like, I don't know, like it'll,
Gotten 12 boxes that are this size, like 10 to 15 in a bunch of bubble.
yeah. So here you're trying to be sustainable, but the packaging is not sustainable of how you're receiving it. So do you go with a vendor that costs more so that your packaging is more sustainable? Like, it's one of these games. Do you, yeah. But then your cost to do the service is more. So it's one of these games, and then so we're at a point where we're trying to figure out how do we provide the service better.
Have you tried local service?
So historically, so we're gonna go see if there's other local vendors that might have for the
Yeah.
containers.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
more of them now. I used to be in that game.
Okay,
So there used to be one big giant company, Stericycle, that would lock you into a 10-year deal and then relock you, but there's been multiple independents now that you can get low costs, be
okay,
much cheaper than what you're doing. And be more frequent.
yeah,
I can get you some names if you want.
yeah, we appreciate that because the online ones tend to be the cheapest, but at the same time, but man, here we are getting so many boxes,
Yeah, but are
of
you
course,
doing that?
plastic.
Are you calling in to get those to come in, or do they send that to you regularly?
We order, so we put in the order online individually, because if you do it auto ship, it's more expensive.
So it's kind of,
Nope, not on automatic, 'cause if you
I
do
don't
it,
know what the rules of, but it used to be the guidelines were that if you were generating medical waste, you
Oh.
had to have it removed in 90 days.
So,
Yes, we get pickup. but
We do pickup.
Okay.
yeah,
It's just the boxes.
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's out of Kalamazoo.
Yeah, sure. How do people get the containers? Do they have to come physically to either one of the public health offices or the drop-off sites, or are you guys shipping to them?
No, they come and pick them up. We do accept other containers, but we do say, we prefer them to take our containers and yeah, so that's where some of our other discussions are too, is that they, because we've looked at like Kent County, they have, let's see if that was on there. Kent County has some Dropbox, so we talked about even looking into some grants to see for when they do come with no containers. But then there's the whole, maintaining that, and, yeah, so there's some things we've, discussed and how to try to make the program, because it's, the smaller containers cost more than some of the larger containers and volume, but then you also have your hauler, that takes away, the container, and so, yeah, so sharps are becoming a big discussion for our program, because you have to have the biomedical, regs, and also our sharps vendor will take away we found out, because we had an issue, we're figuring out, inhalers. 'Cause they can't go with our med drop-offs. So. Our med vendor doesn't take our, the incinerator at Kent doesn't do aerosols. So. Yes, the sharps vendor does,
Yeah, I have a injectable that I use. It's right is
yeah,
twice a year, I go to James Street, drop it off, pick up a new one.
yeah. My husband now, his cholesterol meds are an injectable. So, yeah, so it's just the type of meds now are changing.
Fit into a sharp?
Depending on the type of needle, like the one I have, for some reason, it's.
Yeah.
Back to packaging again. It's a big bulb on one side down and press it up, but
Yeah.
some don't have, it depends on the size.
But, so. But, and then. Another item, you guys, see if I can show you.
It's getting worse. So it's-
Doesn't get better. Yeah, it'll recently.
No, it doesn't. Nothing gets better when you get older.
All the times it checks in the board.
You guys,
The other guy, you can ask, but.
so you guys had asked about some of my site data. And my epi team. Has been working. On trying to tell our story. And this is one thing that we've been working on. Will be made easier once we get our retrack program. Cause right now they just have to pull this from, Excel spreadsheets, and our team has slowly been using some other types of ways to record data. Which Trista and James would be able to help talk more on that part. But, so this is all coming from my sites. Some of this is coming from what, I'm trying to think, this might be, yeah, so this is coming from the reports that Justin and Matt are submitting. So these are the tonnage reports of the landfills. So. Oh, sorry, guys. I guess I could share my screen. All right, give me a second, guys, then I'll share. I gotta get to the right screen. Do. Share.
I haven't read that one.
There might be,
Because it might be including like special waste jobs.
do,
I
do,
don't think
do,
it's MSW, I think it's
do, do, do,
Gotcha.
do, do, do. This one.
First.
Alright.
It's like, right, kind of like the side.
You guys can see now, right?
I see the bottom.
Alright.
Those recycling and.
Yeah.
22.
Some of this could also be, how we were collecting data too, and like how well we did it. Oh, Autumn Hills, I know, yeah, they started collecting more.
You know why that acid jump?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
a lot of it, you got Kent County.
Kent County.
Start taking the volume, like in 24, what we lost, they took. And then also, I think they had some
Yeah,
cleanup volume also coming in 23 from Kalamazoo River.
yeah. But I thought that was, so that's that, and then, so this is the landfill stuff, and then this is, and then the rest of it is more my sites. These are customers per day, and so you can then choose. I am not an expert at this tool. I will give you that.
You're getting over 200 a day,
Um,
like January 2nd.
yeah, these are all of our sites. So, yeah, we get a lot, cause you gotta remember, so like these are, so most of our sites are 2 sites open a day. So if like a second falls on a day that Georgetown and Holland are open. Yeah, so in the summer,
Saturday.
if it's a Saturday,
Yeah.
if Holland's open, that wouldn't surprise me, but now if it's a summertime, so let's see. Yeah. Oh, especially if it's after a holiday, but some of this could be. We're not open on Sunday, so some of this could be not, cause it's not open, it's not. But this is more. See, this is, I said, I'm not sure if the dashboard's again, there's some glitches in this, but. We're still working out kinks. That one I'm not, like I said. And if you tend to get spikes too, if a site was closed over like a holiday. Things will spike because people have been holding on to it. You see, yeah, spikes after holidays, spikes, if, especially, you'll see spikes, especially if Holland's closed. Holland is our busiest.
So with the surveys, Kent County did one. Trying to figure out why people are using their drop-off site versus having it picked up curbside.
Mhm.
Are you guys are surveying the people coming into the drop-off? Do you live in a single-family home? Is this a multi-family? I'm just trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
You're getting that?
We are not surveying them at our sites. We did historically have some of those, so that's where we might do some of that again in the summer or spring, like where we could do some of that type. So that's kind of like what I think like Spencer might be getting at too.
Yeah.
Where this is just one time, like, I mentioned earlier where we might reuse the survey, but we might change certain aspects or take certain things based on location or something. And that's where I haven't gotten to like phase 2 of the grant yet, like where that might be where some of the other funding is where, yeah.
Well, I'm just curious, like
Yeah.
Georgetown Township, I mean, Russ and I are there, we offer curbside recycling to anybody that, single family home, so I'm just curious.
Yeah,
where-
There's a lot of not single family homes in
Yeah,
Georgia.
Yeah.
that's what it's coming from, if it's that.
Yeah.
That's why I
They
had.
just don't want to pay?
No.
Yeah. Yeah,
In preparation for going.
yeah,
Get some of that data, turned out that it's mostly to be apartment dwelling.
Yeah.
We still had a few
Yeah.
that were single. family,
Yeah.
but most of them were windows, different things like that, where there's just not the option.
Yeah, and it gets tricky. This is not survey based too, but this is just my, like, just thinking it. It gets tricky because with the Holland site too, and I know that I did get a call, Port Sheldon Township, and I haven't looked, I haven't talked to them yet too, but I know one of my coworkers with Port Sheldon, they do drop like trash and they do trash pickup, like you might.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Port Sheldon Township,
Well,
we're
they were
there
doing
on
it.
Wednesdays and Saturdays at one of their locations, and their residents can bring it in Port Sheldon bags, and
Yeah.
anything in a bag will take.
Yeah,
So a lot of people opt out of having service just so they can take it on a Wednesday or Saturday to
Yeah.
the truck and.
yeah,
But we also do offer curbside recycling for
Yeah.
Port Sheldon Township.
yeah,
Recycling only. Typically, we don't do recycling only.
yeah,
We have an agreement with that township that we take trash from the residents and offer recycling.
yeah.
Curbside.
So I think,
Cheaper.
It is a cheaper rate.
It's our normal recycling.
yeah. So I think I get a decent amount of those guys too.
But when they.
Well, but yeah, I mean, if you have a couple bags a week, then yes, it's cheaper than having curbside. But
Yeah,
it's a big expense for Port Sheldon Township.
yeah. I know they called me at one point. They had talked about possibly looking into options, I think. Changing that up or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Operates different.
Yeah. But I think that's another thing in that area that affects, yeah,
It's horrible.
but, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so. But yeah, so these are some other data, tires is something that's slowly been growing.
Is that for like a whole year?
Um. Yeah, this is a brand new thing. So, when it gets to the whole data, I wish I wish I would have had Dan come on and talk, because Dan is our epi team. Let's see, I wanna say, oh, there you go, past 180 days. So that would be the past 180
Can
days.
you click on that, please choose the site on the left, is that?
So yeah, so this right now will be all of them, but let's say you wanted to see Coopersville,
Yeah, I'm just curious.
it would be just Coopersville. And what I liked about this is the heat. So obviously Coopersville is only, open 2 times. I'm not, sorry. It's open 2 days, but it's only, yeah, afternoons. Yeah.
Oh, it's only open till noon?
Yeah, yep, noon, and then, so if you wanted to see, like say our busiest site, which is Holland. You can see when it's the busiest, which is tricky because it's pretty busy always.
And those numbers, says one, like, for example, 1,319,
Mm-hmm.
is that individual drops or is that items dropped?
So we look at 2 things, services and people. So
1,300 people.
these are services.
In that.
Yeah, so this is how many services. So one person might utilize more than one
Yeah.
service.
But
Yep.
that's all Mondays in that 180 days.
Yes. Yep.
That makes
Yes.
way more sense.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
same amount of people.
Yeah.
But
Lines going around.
so
Yep.
we did a
So-
survey
So this is the customers per day.
and it is ungodly how many through there.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. So this is more,
Decided-
yeah. Yeah, so this is the customers per day. So,
Yeah,
So-
still a lot.
yeah. Mind you, I'm trying to see a way to look at like a different day. There's a way to, I don't know why it's just
But
January.
they're also.
Click that arrow there, just saying.
That's what I was thinking.
At least.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, so if you can see,
Where it peaks.
yeah,
Ironically, this follows Google's donation trend.
yeah,
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Whereas I would think that May would be the biggest month.
Oh, see, ours is all weather-based.
Same here. So May is when it's finally ramped, but then summers are pretty busy and then
Oh, garage sales. and stuff.
Yeah.
That's true.
in terms of donations.
Yeah. And I think and this is, I mean, the thing is with, from what, this is just me just working with this for, I've probably been 7 years now. This can change next year. It's all weather. If you have a good December, good warm December, this will be higher. And it's all site-based too. So, Holland will be different than, but, yeah, it's all weather-based. And it's all, economic based too. So how is our funding doing? Economics, yeah, so. But yeah, this is our first time having something like this. It's not, the idea is that maybe someday, once we can have like a dashboard on our webpage or something like that, but this is at least giving us an internal way to look at some stuff. Once we get Retrack, which is my next kind of little internal update, we just did our launch on it. Our launch as in, we just met with them and they're gonna give us our initial platform. So,
Doesn't give you this. It's good.
yeah, I've never, I've entered a couple things into it before historically. But it'll give us a way to start tracking data. We're gonna use it at the sites as well as be able to eventually do some MMP stuff with it too, so we can record some correct data, inputs, yeah,
A little
so,
difficult. There's a lot
Yeah.
of things when you're.
Um,
Because I'm figuring you're the one that's gonna answer some of this.
Yeah.
stuff, And
Yeah.
it is not as
Yeah.
straightforward.
yeah.
Thinking about it.
And we did make it, and this would be something more for like Matt and Justin and public, we did make sure it was very clear that we wanted to make it as similar as possible to Eagles. So that we don't cause confusion when we ask them to report. Because we don't want it to be like, oh, now you have to report here too, the landfills do. And then it's completely different because, yeah, we don't want it to be like, all right. One of the things that we talked about, which is confusing, is we record our data by tonnage, but the state wants cubic yards. And I still like tonnage.
You can
Yeah.
convert those. right?
Yeah.
Is there a certain average
Yeah.
tonnage per
And
cubic
there's
yard?
there's an
Yeah.
option in there.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
an option in.
But my biggest thing is at the scale, it's tonnage, so. And I talked to, like Matt and Justin, they're like, they prefer tonnage, because that's what that
I
scale,
think that just goes back to like years ago when
yeah,
not everybody had scales and like,
yeah,
everyone knows a yard's a yard, but this hasn't evolved.
yeah.
Everybody has a scale now. Know where-
Yeah. That's what Matt and Justin were saying, yeah, so, but yeah, so. Either way, I figure we'll get on that line anyways, but yeah,
If I could ask one question, just,
Yeah.
you started off with the Sharps update.
yeah.
Is there, you know what the annual cost is now, like from 24, and what did it go to 25? Just curious how much of an increase that was and how much that's eating into
The
your
budget,
existing budget.
What's the cost of sharps? Just buying the containers, not the pickup fee was, I think around like high 7,000s before and it's also this last year.
yeah, yeah,
Now that depends on what container you buy, because we found similar size containers, but one had like a chimney on top, one had a flat, for two different prices. If we were interchangeably ordering them, so it's a little bit of not all the same container every single.
yeah, and then. Our contract for picking up, we share a portion of it with the clinic side, because obviously clinic generates. Sharps as well, but we obviously generate a lot more. I wanna say that contract, I estimate about 10,000 for that. I did have to up it last year,
So you had about 20,000 all in for the containers and the disposal.
Yeah, 20 to 25, yeah. And that's, and another item another update, I guess, I bring up too is my HHW is also increasing. I might have to go out for bid for that. That's a substantial increase. So,
I think part of the reason maybe we brought the sharps things up too is just, it is something that just gets thrown away, so.
yeah,
Or put in recycling,
yeah,
so like identifying it as like increase, as like, something we're seeing a lot of because of all these new drugs.
yeah,
This is something that you might wanna keep in mind for thinking about like another B thing or.
yeah.
I don't think it's gonna go away. It's just gonna keep-
No. It's just, it's one of those things that a lot of people don't think about, but it's, yeah, it's the new concern for our program of like, all right, this is a constant increase, it's a constant cost, and it's one of those things that just, yeah, it doesn't go away. And it had been an item that was pre-COVID that, so now that meds kind of, I was part of a group that was paired with CMH. We had, we essentially had Myers and CVS, they had all started having drop-off boxes for meds disposals. And then we had started talking about, okay, maybe we can do something like that too for Sharps, or how do we get those places that also distribute items that do Sharps to also get on board with something like that for Sharps. And then COVID happened and then, yeah, and it never got, and then everyone got busy and then materials management planning happened. So I never got to be like, all right, how do I get this conversation going again? How do we get them to think about that as well? Or like so that's a huge cost. And it's a thing that and I talked about, seen it before with like Kent County, and other recycling places. They see them sometimes in their MRFs, and so I'm not sure if you see them in your MRF, but.
Or can't count.
But yeah, so Sharps is something we're trying to think about. We're hoping to figure it out, all in one meeting, but of course that didn't happen. Any ideas about, how to improve a Sharp program, guys, you let me know. Take all and any suggestions.
Just call everybody that handles that, throw them up in a matrices and figure out who's the best cost and start there.
Or have you explored your own recycling program for it? So you have like a furnace on hand that you throw them in it. Melts the plastic, separates the else.
My own melting program.
I have contacts if you want,
Yeah,
and it'll be cheap.
okay. Appreciate that, yeah. Cause I can, okay,
Expect a call.
perfect, appreciate that. Hey. That helps. When you're trying to find these, you essentially you always start with Google, try to look up MRFs, and sometimes you just don't get the right one and they all end up being expensive.
Well, there's not many of them,
Yeah,
except for big giant, like monopolies, and so they just kind of just suck the air out of these or independents.
mhm,
And then if you do call them, then they lock you into these ridiculous contracts that you can't get out.
Yeah.
They stay lawyers on, it's really quite a pain in the butt, so doing local.
yeah, oh, we always, yeah. Yeah. Well,
Good to know.
yeah. That's all I got.
Just help them learn that.
That's what I said.
Any questions for Kim on program updates?
Or anything? And then I will stop sharing, so if there's anyone that's got a hand up or anything. See.
Okay, so we ready to move into wrap up? Any committee member updates? We can go around the table and share if you have something to share. I don't think I really do at this point either, so.
I don't have an update, but I've just noticed, future meetings, have they been scheduled yet, or, because I know I missed last meeting, but.
Yes, they have, and you should have, gotten it, so I'll make sure, if not, I'll resend it to you.
If you would.
They're all the third Wednesday,
Okay.
when it happens to you. I'll verify.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, you're gonna be invited.
How did you do?
No,
this?
you're on
You
there.
just say, yeah, I see you on the invite list.
Just ignored it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was probably all a reoccurring one, so once you
That's
find the first one.
You find the one,
Yeah.
find the whole series.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thanks.
so I'll resend it to you right now. Yeah, because if you, that's one thing, it's tricky, you can't decline, you make sure you decline the individual, not the occurrence, yeah, Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Thanks.
You just don't have enough meetings. That's the problem, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
You need to be an expert.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say one last thing.
All right, anyone else in the room have any updates to share or other questions like that? Is Carrie still on? Carrie, you have anything to share with the group?
I do not.
All right, so then one more opportunity for public comment before we adjourn. We lost some of the people online, but. Okay, no public comment. Okay, so our next meeting, we just talked about February 18, 9 AM, same place. Hopefully a less snowy day, but we'll see.
Don't know.
And if there's nothing else, we would look for a motion to adjourn.
Or
All right,
must be too.
all right, the motion stands adjourned.
Right,
Thanks, everybody.
yeah, thank you.
You didn't grab a donut to go and.
Oh, yes. Okay.